Well, Jon, thank you for joining us. A warm welcome to your first Ryder Cup. Just give us your thoughts on how special it has been being part of that team room this week so far.
Well, as a rookie, I don't know what the other guys have said. It's hard to explain. It's a lot of emotions running through me right now, but obviously it's an incredible sense of accomplishment just to be here. A great sense of pride and humility at the same time, just because we know how much it takes to be in the situation, and I couldn't be any happier to be sharing this with the teammates that I have, and I'm really happy that a lot of those people that were, let's say, peers in the game of golf, and I didn't get to know very well beforehand. I'm getting to know very well right now, and are becoming really good friends, right? So it's even though I'm still a young adult, I'm still 23. I feel like a little kid again. So it's a great feeling.
You played the last two editions of the Open de France here. Mm-hmm. Just give us your thoughts on the course and how useful an exercise that has been playing in those two.
Well, I think the best thing out of the last 2 years is that I've played the golf course in two completely different conditions. I've been able to play both predominant winds on the golf course, so I've seen it both ways. 2 years ago, last year it was rainy, it was cold, it was windy, so the course was playing one way, and then this year was a little warmer, still windy, but the other way and drier, right? So I was able to play it completely different. So yeah, I can say I've played the course both ways. Still, I mean, magnificent track, magnificent golf course, great design, and it's in as good a shape as a golf course can be. So it's always a great walk when you get to play Golf National.
Thank you, Jon. We'll go into some questions. If you'd like to raise your hands, we'll start with Stephen on microphone 2 at the back.
Hi, Jon. Thomas Bjorn has said that Sergio Garcia was picked as much for his influence in the team room as on the course. Can you just talk about sort of what he's been like in the team room, and also how exciting would it be to be sort of paired with him in another sort of all-Spanish partnership that's been so frequent in the Ryder Cup over the last few years?
Well, I've gotten to know Sergio pretty well outside the Ryder Cup, and I can say he loves the event. He knows what it is like, and he knows how well he performs in this event, and he does act in a great way. I mean, his demeanor, his energy is so positive and so energetic, is very contagious. I mean, I'm very much the same way when I'm off the golf course, and it's great to be around. I mean, it's so much fun to be around people like him in an event like this, just because he gets everybody, very, very energetic and very, very much the same way he is, right? So it helps everybody get together and bring everybody together. I mean, he is a special man. He's a great golfer, and this is one of the main reasons why he's here.
Got a microphone 3 at the front, Mark.
Hey, Jon. With the 5 rookies on the team, how much have you bonded with those guys this week? Obviously, you know all of them before, but and do you think it could be an advantage or a disadvantage to have so many rookies on the team? And as a last follow, what's your anticipation of that first tee on Friday if you're out there?
Well, when it comes to the rookies, what can I say? 2 of those are Tommy Fleetwood and Alex Noren, 2 of the best players in the world the last 2 years. Race to Dubai champion. Alex has won, seems like 10 times the last 3 years. They've both won the French Open. And then Tyrrell Hatton, somebody who's been in great form the last 2 years. Myself, have actually had great performances here. And Torbjörn Olesen, who's won pretty much every year the last few years. So it's, pretty good time to have 5 rookies, I would say. I've gotten to know them pretty well. It's Alex is a little bit quieter. Alex and Torbjörn are both a little bit quieter guys. But once you're in a team room, you can't hide. So it's great to know everybody, how everybody thinks. I've played with Tommy quite a bit the last few years. Played with Tyrrell as well. So it's again, like I said, it's a great feeling to have all these people become friends. It's been really fun. Everybody's been nothing but a complete delight. Hopefully, I can't wait to get the Ryder Cup started, to be honest. And I can't explain what that first tee is going to be like. I mean, the only time I've seen stands this big is in a football stadium, and the closest that gets to that is 16th and TPC Scottsdale, which is the closest sense I'm going to have, since I live in Scottsdale and I'm a ASU graduate. So I do have some of the gallery pulling for me on that hole, but I know it's not going to be anything like this. So when I've had people that have experienced great things in golf tell me that the final tee time at a major it's a 2 out of 10 compared to the first tee on the Ryder Cup. So haven't been on the last tee time on the majors yet, so I can't tell you what that's going to be like.
I'm going to mic one on the right.
Jon, I know you often listen to rap music in the minutes before you get on the first tee and to get pumped up for it. Will the earphones be in this week, or is there more than enough out there that would just get you up for the occasion?
The main reason why I do, so I listen to music when I first putt and right before going to the tee. I do it when I first start putting just so I can get into my own world a little bit, because it's very easy to get caught up in what's going on around you, especially in a week like this, so that's why I do it. And then beforehand, again, pretty much the same reason, right? Right before teeing off, especially in a week like this, it's very easy to get caught up looking at the stands, looking at the people, looking at what's going on, and forget what you're here for in the first place. So that's why I put the headphones on. It kind of helps me get within myself and, you know, be able to get physically and mentally ready for the match.
So what's the playlist this week?
I've been listening a lot to Eminem's new album. That I can tell you that much. But it usually is pretty standard. I mean, there's about 4 or 5 songs I listen while I'm putting before and after. I always do it right before I get to the putting range, so it all depends on the day.
Cara on mic 3 on the left.
Hi, Jon. Rory was just in here saying he was pleasantly surprised at the input you've already had to the team in your rookie year. What kind of things have you been saying to inspire everyone, given the fact that you haven't yet teed it up in a Ryder Cup?
I'm just being myself. I don't know if I've said any memorable quotes yet. I can't think of anything. Again, I'm just trying to be myself, you know, and enjoy it as much as possible. You're going to have to ask other players to say what I've said, because I can't remember.
Got a better mic 4.
Hey, Jon. Obviously, you're a fiery character and a guy that likes to be emotional out there. Can you run me through the pros and cons of potentially being paired with someone like you in that regard, and someone like Alex or Justin, who's a bit more even-keeled?
All I can say is that if they're getting paired with me, is because they're very aware of how I am on the golf course, and because they want to play with somebody like that. That's all I can say. I can play with anybody. You know, I've played representing Spain. I've played with many different players, energetic players, calm players, people that are like me, very different like me, and I've had success with all of them. I'm a pretty easygoing person. You know, once we get to the golf course, especially on, you know, 4-ball and foursomes, when you're playing with a partner, it's a little bit different than playing singles. So I think we all act a little bit differently. You know, it's like 2 players becoming one. So it kind of, you know, I think we feed off the best of each other. So it'll help me if I'm playing with somebody like Justin Rose. It'll help me calm down a little bit, and my emotion will help him maybe pump up a little bit, right? So I think it benefits both ways.
Got him on mic 3, please.
Jon, what Roy was referring to specifically was your contribution to the WhatsApp group. Could you give us a flavour of the sort of tone you use when you contribute to the WhatsApp group?
My contribution to the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he referred to.
I think, well, see, we have funny moments. I mean, like yesterday, for example, after the round, after Rory drove it past me 50 yards in pretty much every hole, I was on the physio table after the round and with needles in me, and because of jet lag, I was completely asleep. So Rory, decided it was a perfect time to take a picture of my underwear and post it on the chat and say, you know, I couldn't handle him hitting it past me in every single jet drive. So obviously you have to protect yourself and respond to something like that and say whatever comes to mind. In my case, I like sarcastic humor a lot. I think I enjoy it a lot. You know, hopefully I didn't hurt anybody on the team. I guess it's not I think we all understand that at that point. It's just, to be honest, I think we're just trying to everybody make fun of each other. You're not, if you think you've gone away so far, you're not going to. You know, everybody's going to get something at some point, and that's what we do. So at first I was a little bit hesitant on what to say. You know, I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to piss off anybody. And then once I realized what the tone was going to be, you know, within 30 seconds, here we go, somebody was getting it. I was like, okay, it's pretty much free will to say whatever you want to anybody, which is obviously, it's a great thing because we all have a lot of fun.
Can I just ask a follow-up question in terms of team sport and what background you've got in team sport and whether that's something you really enjoy?
I love team sports. As much as I love, because we're in an individual sport, as much as I enjoy winning individually, there's not greater feeling than winning as a team. Like I said, I've been in the national team in Spain since I was 14 years old. I grew up playing football and many other team sports. I did team canoeing as well, many different things. So also being in the team in the United States for 4 years, it's great when a team gets together for one same goal, one same purpose, and it gets accomplished. Whether you win or lose as a team, and it's always easier to deal with it whether you win or lose. It's a lot more fun either way. So yeah, I wish we had more team events in golf, but again, if we had more, the Ryder Cup maybe wouldn't be what it is right now, so I'm certainly glad it is what it is.
Microphone 2 on the right-hand side.
John, you said a few minutes ago, this is a magnificent track. Great design.
Oh, there you are, sorry.
You said this is a magnificent track and a great design. Could you just explain what do you mean by great design? Can you expand on that?
Yeah. Well, playing on the PGA Tour a lot of times the game of golf on the PGA Tour is somewhat repetitive, whereas see who can hit the longest drive, see who can hit it the highest on the green, to stop it on a very small shelf and very firm, fast greens. And if you miss the green, it's give me the lob wedge, give me the lob wedge, the lob wedge, and the lob wedge again, right? It's all flop shots, see how high you can hit it in every single sense. So every time I come back to Europe and I see all the more traditional golf courses, you come here, and you start on the first few holes. You see number 1, it's a short hole. It's just a layup of a tee. It's arguably the widest fairway of a tee. And still as tense as can be. Still tenser than most of the tee shots we played on the PGA Tour. A very narrow second shot, even if you have just a wedge in. And then you go to that second hole. Every single shot you have out here in Golf Nacional is tense. There's not one relaxed moment. It doesn't give you much room for error. You need to think about it. You need to think about what you're doing, the type of shot, the consequences. It's, in my mind, what the game of golf should be like. It's a lot more enjoyable. It's a lot of fun if you play good. It's a fight. Without being links golf is the closest you're going to get to thinking like links golf.
Did you say tense? Intense.
Yeah.
Got to fill on to you.
John, I wouldn't expect you to give away any pairings, secrets or anything like that, but if hypothetically, if you were to play with Rory, why would that be a good possible pairing? And if so, maybe would you be happy to tee off first on the Friday morning?
If I were to play with Rory, well, we've played a lot together. I think we know each other's game very well, and we have a very similar game plan in mind. I think the one thing that you can say about both of us is that we're both fearless. So we will complement each other very well. But again, I could play with any of the other 11 guys. I have such equally as good a time as I would with Rory. I think it all goes up to, I think, being the history of the Ryder Cup, I will be playing with an experienced player. They're not going to put 2 rookies up on Friday morning. So I will be playing with somebody, either Stenson, Sergio, Rory, Rosie, Poulter, Fran, somebody who knows what's going on and somebody who can most likely keep me under control on that Friday morning, because I feel like I'm going to have electricity coming out of me. So it's a little bit, you can imagine I might tee up with somebody who's a little more calm than me, which is not hard to do. But yeah, again, I could play with anybody, but I believe I would play with somebody experienced.
Going to go Mike 3 on the far left, Tim.
John, is it a dream of yours to play in your first Ryder Cup with Sergio? Do you see yourself gaining confidence and inspiration from him the way he did years ago with Seve?
It's always been a dream of mine to share the stage with Sergio. And just because he's been in my shoes, he played the Ryder Cup when he was 18, 19 years old. So he was even younger than I was. And I feel pretty young at this point. I'm the youngest on the team by a couple of years. So, I think he understands me as a fellow Spaniard, as both fiery players. I think he understands me more than anybody else. So whether we play together or not, he's going to be able to help me out most out of anybody in the world. So, I'm really looking forward to this week spending with him.
Time for one more question on microphone 4, please.
Hey, John, just to follow up on an earlier point, obviously at the Ryder Cup, rookies tend to fade into the background while the veterans lead. As the youngest player on the team, you're a gregarious fellow. Why have you felt a desire to be so active in some of the discussions and kind of be a leader by default?
Well, I haven't made any decisions or anything like that. One of the things Thomas said is be yourself. So I'm taking that as serious as I can, and I'm a very honest, upfront person. I don't lie. So whatever it's in my mind, I'm going to say. That's what he said, so that's what I'm doing. I think this situations work best when everybody says what's in their mind. You avoid confusions. If somebody's going to get upset, you get upset before rather than after the fact. It's the best way to get everything done and everything figured out beforehand. So why not? I'm not a person who lies either way, so I'm not going to change that now.
Okay, well, Jon, thank you for joining us. Good luck this week.
Thank you, guys.